This is the part where I let loose a little bit. This is the part where I put my body back on because it makes me happy. And I'll talk briefly about my journey, and then I think we will have a Q&A if I'm not mistaken, right? Okay. Yes. My Toastmaster journey started in 2010 in Hawthorne, California. Why did I join Toastmasters initially? Because when I was 19, I knew that I wanted to do this forever. I knew that I wanted to speak. I hated sitting in the audience. I never wanted to be in the audience. I always wanted to be the person up on stage speaking. But I didn't have a point of reference. I didn't have an aunt who was in public speaking. My mom wasn't a part of Toastmasters. I didn't have a guide to say, hey, this is how you do it. But one day, my sister said, consider joining Toastmasters. It'll help you become a more effective speaker. It'll polish your leadership skills. It'll help you get that professional development that you need as a speaker. And so I joined in Hawthorne, California, 2010. When I joined that club, the president, Amy Ayano, changed my life. There are 16,000 clubs worldwide affiliated with Toastmasters, and every club has a different personality. I've been blessed to be a member of 3. The first one, with Amy Ayano as my president, she was very eclectic. She was eccentric. She was creative. She helped me learn how to be myself on stage. If you think this is fancy, you should have saw Amy, a Japanese woman about this tall, coming in every meeting with a nice bright kimono, and she'd start with, hello, Toastmasters, and guests, welcome to the greatest show on earth. Imagine that every single week. It'll sink in. It'll sink in. And she encouraged me to be creative and to be myself and to not be afraid to look foolish on stage. A few years later, I moved back to my hometown of Cleveland, Ohio, and I joined a club called the Cleveland Club. Now, the Cleveland Club was very prestigious. The Cleveland Club mirrored a corporate club. That means that the majority of the people worked at the Regional Transit Authority in downtown Cleveland, and they would meet every Thursday on their lunch breaks. They were coming in blazers, in suits, and everyone spoke very professionally, and I didn't wear any shiny things there. It was very sophisticated, but that's how I learned how to present myself in a professional way. Because as a speaker, you have to know your audience. So I'm able to identify with the artistic people, but as well as the people who are more corporate and sophisticated. So it gave me that well-roundedness that I needed. And that's when I started competing. In 2015, I competed. And as I just mentioned, I made it to the district level. And then I tried again in 2016, and I didn't get past the initial club level, but that's okay. In 2018, I joined the current club that I'm a member of now, called the Sci-Fair Super Speakers. And I did not realize that my Toastmasters experience could get better, but it was elevated because I saw diversity. I had never seen that much diversity in a club ever, and I felt that sense of family and structure, and that was after the first meeting. I went, and everybody was just very supportive and very encouraging. And at that point, I had matured a little bit. I grew up. My attitude changed. In 2015, as I mentioned, I continued to win. It was my first time competing, and I was winning. What does that do to a young woman's ego? He's been competing for 12 years, and I beat him? This is my first time, and I'm winning? I'm already the world champion. I was so arrogant that year, the international convention was in Vegas. So when you win at the district level, you get a ticket to the semifinals, whatever city it's in. Before I even competed at the district level, my bags were already packed. That's how convinced I was in my arrogant little mind that I was going to win. And then the next year, when I tried again, I was egotistical. I'm gonna come here to club level. This is the first level. I got it. And then when they didn't say my name, it knocked me down. Fast forward to 2018, completely different person, educated, trying to get on track, trying to become more of a good person for others, not just for myself. So when I wanted to compete in 2018, it was for 3 reasons, and I know Hugh knows. To learn, grow, and have fun. Didn't even focus on the trophy. Of course, when you enter a competition, you want to win and be successful, but that wasn't my motivation. I wanted to sharpen my skills as a speaker. I wanted to represent this wonderful club that I was a part of, and I wanted to learn all about Toastmasters and really enjoy the journey in the process. And so with the support of my club, I continued to compete, and I just every time, I just had fun. I just went in there and enjoyed the moment. I wasn't concerned about who was competing or why they were competing or if I was better than her or if I thought I was better than him or who's ever competed in here? You know then. You know then. You go in there and you're like, I wonder what, he looks like a good speaker. Nah, she doesn't look like she's going to talk about anything. It's like the process of elimination, by the way they look. I wasn't doing that. I was going in there to genuinely enjoy the moment and share my story about Mr. Cliff on stage. And that's pretty much my Toastmaster journey from 2010 to 2018. I didn't expect to win the World Championship of Public Speaking in 2018. I didn't expect it. I wasn't that person that year going around saying, I'm the 2018 World Champion of Public Speaking. I wasn't doing that. That wasn't my focus. And so when I got to Chicago and I was in the semifinals, I had never been there before. How many of you have been to the semifinals before? I had never been. And it was new to me. And when you're competing at the district level is usually huge, right? It's a lot of people. Imagine that like times 3. Imagine that times 3. When I walked into the semifinals, there were 106 of the best speakers in the world. And of course, the majority of the speakers are men. And so that year, I don't know how it has been the previous years, but that year we were grouped. There were 10 or 11 different groups. And in my group, there were 10 of us. And we all sat together because we were going to be competing against that specific 10. I was the only woman. And it was my first time. A lot of those guys have been there 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 10 times. So this is what they do. And so I walked down the road. Excuse me, mister. Oh, sorry, sir. I have on this little cute little top and skirt, and I sit down. And I'm just looking like a deer in headlights. I'm afraid. I'm nervous. I see all these people from all around the world because that's when it gets international. That's when you see the abayas, and you see the kimonos, and you see the hijabs, and you see all these different people, and it was very intimidating. So I'm just sitting there, my knees were shaking a little bit, and I see this older gentleman get up, looking like my grandfather, so I was comforted. And I'm like, yes, grandpa's going to come over here and give me some encouraging words. Thank you. I'm like, I know he can see me sitting here. He says, yes. So he comes over, he bends down, and he says, you know I'm going to beat the pants off you, right? He didn't know about this. In my mind, I said, okay, well, lucky for me, I'm wearing a skirt. So let's do this. And then I did the Cliff speech on stage. He gave his speech, and Grandpa did his place. So that's it. Anyway, I was very nervous, and then I finally got to the final stage. And it's very hard for me to explain. How many of you have been to the contest, the international level? You've seen it. How big is that stage? Yeah. That stage is massive. That stage is like the Titanic. It was huge, and then the background is so the bluest blue I'd ever seen. And then our faces are plastered on that screen and then that screen. It was like being on American Idol. And there were times when I was sitting in the audience and I was looking at the other, because at that level, everybody's amazing. At that level, the top 10 speakers in the world, everybody is dynamic, everybody is on point. And I became a fan because I had watched so many videos on YouTube. I had watched all these people for all these different years at this level, and I was finally there. And then the lady tapped me and she said, it's time for you to get mic'd up. I said, why? She was like, because you're competing. I said, oh, yes, that is why. But I got so caught up in the moment. And the history that was made, it was just phenomenal. The trifecta of women, and to just see all the other world champions there on the front row cheering me on. And there's no manual when you become the world champion of public speaking. There's no blueprint. They don't give you a book and say, here's everything you need to do and what you need to know. And there are no checks written. And some people still think that once you become the world champion, they cut you like $1 million check. They don't. They don't. And it's optional. You don't have to do all this traveling. A lot of people inbox me and say, oh my God, you travel so much. Well, I actually have a life and I have things to do. I can't travel like you. You don't have to. You don't have to. It's optional. I do it because this is what I've always wanted to do in my life. And Toastmasters has given me the platform to be able to live my dreams. And I appreciate it. And I'm happy. I'm happy, and I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to connect with people from all over the world. And I've learned so much about myself as a human. myself as a human, because when you step outside of America and you step outside of all the division and all the hatred and all of the clashing of the races, and you step outside of that, and I'm going in as a champion, so I'm getting the utmost respect. I will not say that I'm colorblind. I'm not going to say that. That's a lie. But I will say that by expanding my horizons and laughing in the same language and crying in the same language and eating with people who I've never, I don't know these people, but we're bonding, and I don't even know who you are, and we can come together on a common thread, and it's just all peaceful and lovely. I see the human race. And that's a difficult thing. When I say that sometimes as an African-American woman, when I say that in America, people go, ha, ha. You know, when I'm traveling to all these different places, I can only see hearts now. I can only see hearts now. I see that you have black hair. I see that you have brown eyes. I see that, you know, I see how you look. But I feel your character. Kathy, I feel who you are. I feel your soul. I feel your spirit. Valerie, I feel who you are. I feel your non-filter. Because sometimes Valerie does not have a filter. And I love it though. I love it. I love it. Because she didn't put up a facade. She didn't see this young black girl getting in her car and start to, you know, change who she was. She was Valerie. And that's who I've become. Everywhere I go, there I am. That's who I am. So if I do nothing else as a world champion, I want to show people to open your minds. I came back from Saudi Arabia. When I told my family I was going to Saudi Arabia, what do you think they thought? When I told my family I was going to Kuwait and all these Middle Eastern countries, what do you think they thought? Terrorism. In Saudi Arabia, women just got the right to drive a couple of months ago, I think back in July. They have all these misconceptions and negative perceptions about places that they've never been. And I feel like if I'm blessed, whatever you believe in, whatever you don't believe in, if the universe put me in this situation, I'm taking full advantage of it, so I'm going everywhere. And my life has never been threatened. And I've never felt unsafe. And I've never felt like I was put to the side or pushed to the back. I've never been forced to wear an abaya. I've never been forced to wear a hijab. I've never been forced to do anything that I don't want to do. I think Arabic is a beautiful language, and I'm learning it. Why? Because if I don't understand what they're saying, the intellectual thing would be to learn it. Don't judge it. Don't knock it. Educate yourself and learn it. And learn what they mean. And that's with any language, Italian, Spanish, German, whatever. Open your minds. So as the world champion standing before you today, it's a big wide world, and I hope I can just give you a little piece of it.
All right.